From the real-life Papa Smurf to an Indian child with super hands, this is a list of 10 people you won't believe actually exist. "24-year-old Michelle Cobb made headlines in 2013 due to her tiny 16-inch waist. Unlike many others in this video who were born differently from other babies, she made the conscious choice to modify her body. By sleeping in a corset every night for 3 years, she reduced her waist by 9 inches. Even though her waist is actually smaller than most 2-year-olds, she still wears tight corsets with the goal of slimming down by another 2 inches. A goal that doctors have warned against. They warn her that if she continues to do this, the damage to her spine may prevent her from being able to stand up. And she already suffers from the blatant health problems that come with having a stomach that small. Which sounds quite bad to us modern humans, but back in the Victorian era, she would have been the talk of the town. Mandy Sellers is unique. She suffers from a condition that has never been discovered in another human. She was born with legs twice the size of other babies, and as she grew into adulthood, her legs and feet never stopped growing. To this day, doctors are baffled by Mandy's genetics. In 2010, they were forced to amputate one of her legs, but 22 months after the surgery, the leg started to grow back. At this point, the new leg weighs over 40 pounds and shows no signs that it will stop growing. What the doctors do know about her condition is that it belongs to a group of genetic mutations so rare that only 120 people are known to have ever had it. Kaleem is a young lad from India. At 8 years old, he has been rejected by local schools after his hands grew far larger than human hands ever tend to. Doctors in India have never seen anyone like Kaleem before. He reminds me of Mandy Sellers, especially considering that when he was born, both his hands were twice the size of regular babies. Since his early years, his parents have wanted to receive help for him, but as he comes from a poor family, there really isn't much that can be done for him. But that's okay because he's actually perfectly healthy. His hands weigh 28 pounds, and each measure 13 inches from palm to fingertip. With his community now raising money for his medical care, the general consensus is that he can be effectively treated. Amu Haji lives in Iran and hasn't washed himself for 60 years. No one has any idea why he has refused to bathe for so many decades, but I think it's fair to assume that he's completely mental. One of the few things he owns is a huge steel pipe that he uses to smoke animal dung. But he is around 80 years old at this point, so maybe inhaling animal excrement is the secret to immortality. Years of dirt and mud have coated his skin to the point where he now looks more orc than man. He is a lonely nomad, who usually sleeps in a tiny room that someone who feels sorry for him once built while drunk. He seems happy though. Paul Carrison became internet famous after his skin turned blue. And I know what you guys are thinking. How does this man have blue skin? It all began when he was suffering from a brief period of skin problems. He decided that the best way to combat this problem was to rub a silver compound on his face. And it actually worked, but at the time he had no idea that one of the side effects of it would be his skin changing colour. To his horror, the change was permanent, and he was soon given the nickname Papa Smurf, a nickname he has always hated. Wang Fang is a Chinese woman born with deformed feet, the deformation being her feet having grown backwards, which was followed by doctors warning her parents that she may never walk. Now aged 35, not only can she walk, but she can run faster than anyone she knows. She has a regular job as a waitress and lives a completely normal life, apart from having to wear shoes backwards. To suit this, she insists that despite her deformity, she is not disabled, and to prove that she is not disabled, she once competed in the Paralympics. Claudio Oliveira is a Brazilian man who was born with an upside-down head. The problem is that his neck is folded back on itself, which forces him to see the world from the top down. But his unique perspective seems to have helped him get ahead in his chosen career as a motivational speaker. The 38-year-old has come a long way. When he was just a baby, doctors tried to convince his mother to stop feeding him, arguing that he could never survive. As a reaction to this, his parents never took him back to the hospital, but now he flies all over the world to give speeches. It is unknown why he was born deformed, but his legs are bent backwards and his hands are barely able to move, so he uses his mouth to do things instead. Naim Guinea recently took part in a social experiment. The aim of the experiment was to find someone who looked just like her within 28 days, and by use of social media, they were successful. It would appear that Naim has discovered her doppelganger because Karen Brannigan looks just like her. After finding each other online, they met in person and engaged in a long discussion about what it was like to be the same person. No one knows how these two women are basically the same person, but it's probably because of God or Jesus or something. With an 8-foot circumference, Mikhail Raffanilli has the largest hips in the world. Standing 5'4", she claims to have the body all women envy. And that could be true for all I know, because I'm not sure if you can tell by my voice, but I'm not actually a woman. Mikhail has 4 children from what I imagine were easy births. Carlos Rodriguez is known internationally as Half Skull. They say a near-death experience would take something away from all of us. This was certainly true for Carlos when he lost half his head in a brutal car accident. As you would expect, he lost a significant part of his brain, but he can now function just as well as he could before the accident. He first gained attention when he was arrested by police for allegedly hiring prostitutes, and his mugshot went viral. He wouldn't tell the police his name, so on paperwork they simply referred to him as Half a Head. And so that brings us to the end of our video on 10 people you won't believe actually exist. So be sure to subscribe for more weekly list videos, and know that for every thumbs up this video gets, I will donate a baby goose to charity.